Alright, so welcome back to the channel, guys. Today it is me, 87 Today, guys, and we talk to you guys about the Europa League round of 32 playoff stage, basically. And this basically, pot one will go against pot two. Basically, the pot one are the second place Europa League runner-up teams. The pot two teams are the third place teams of the Champions League. And of course, each team will be playing home and away. Now, it's interesting that the third place Champions League teams will actually play their home games first. And the second leg is going to take place at the pot one area. And remember, guys, the winner of these matches do go to the round of 16, and the losers are eliminated from Europe entirely. So it's going to be quite interesting to see how this pans out. And of course, I will be doing my draw reaction. Of course, it is the same website as the Champions League. Just click the Europa League here, so I'll still put the link in the description below so you guys can do that. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with the Europa League, that is. So let's go ahead and do a mock draw. We'll do the mock draw first, and then we'll do my dream draw, the matchups I want to see happen. So let's start with the runners up. So we're gonna have Leipzig here. Well, it's not really runners up. It's more like pot two teams, but you get the point. Okay, so I'm gonna say Napoli. Wow. Okay. Sheriff, I'm gonna say Lazio. Rangers, okay. Sevilla, I'm gonna say Braga. Okay. Um, Atalanta. Ooh, Sociedad would be nice, and it is. Porto. Ooh, Porto versus Zagreb would be cool in my opinion. Betis, okay. Zenit. Zagreb. Braga, okay. Barcelona. Olympiacos. Wow. Dortmund versus Dynamo Zagreb. So that is the mock draw for you guys. Now, I believe in real life they'll do all the third place teams first, then do the runner up teams. But of course, I know this one isn't exactly the real life, but this is somewhat similar in a way. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So remember, guys, the real draw will take place on Monday, and I'll give you guys my dream matchup. So let's start with the very first matchup which we have here. It is Real Sociedad versus Atalanta. And the reason why I love this fixture so much is that both teams love to score goals. Both teams are quite capable of scoring so many goals in a matchup. And I really just feel like for me, this is such an unpredictable game, and that it's hard to really call for a winner for this match because both teams love to score goals, and both teams we know do concede a ton of goals. Both teams we know they don't really have the best of defense, and I would just love to see this matchup take place. And I just think this matchup would be very interesting indeed. And given the fact that Atalanta is really good on the road, I think that could give Atalanta a huge advantage in the second leg, perhaps, despite the fact they're away. And Sociedad, we know how good they are at home. So it makes things very interesting, right? Very interesting indeed. I would love to see this happen. Next fixture I got here is Napoli versus Barissie Dortmund. Both of these teams have done pretty decently well in the Bundesliga, but have been kind of underwhelming in Europe, especially for Napoli. In a concerning group they were in, you would really expect them to at least get a second spot of the group, in which they did, to be fair, but they really should have topped the group, in my opinion. They really should have, and they messed up against Spartak Moscow, and it ended up becoming Spartak Moscow that actually topped the group. Of course, massive credit must be given to Spartak Moscow, but at the end of the day, they really should have done a lot better. And it's going to be a great matchup because we're going to have Osimhen versus Erling Braut Haaland in this matchup, and assuming both players do stay, that is, and I think Barissie Dortmund, they could have a real opportunity to win the Europa League this season. And it'd be a great matchup because we're guaranteed to see one of the heavyweights go out. Like, we're guaranteed to see either one of the favorites go out early in the competition, Napoli or Barissie Dortmund, and I just love that. Love that, love that. And by the way, guys, I am a Barcelona fan. We'll get to Barcelona in a bit. But yeah, that's a matchup I would like to see happen. And then I have the next one is called Dynamo Zagreb versus Zenit St. Petersburg. The reason why I like to see this matchup is because both these teams are very difficult to travel to at the road, and both these teams have very good home records. And it's very difficult to play in Croatia. It's very difficult to play in Russia. We all know how it's like. We know what Zenit did to Chelsea. We know what Zagreb did to Tottenham. So, like I said, this one's a very interesting one, and it would be very nice indeed. We have a Croatian team versus a Russian team, and we just saw in the 2022 World Cup qualifiers and how big of a match this was for Croatia at home, and they ended up winning the game. So, I just think it'll be a great matchup indeed. Moving on, the next one we got is it's a difficult one, and I do think this one's really interesting. We got is Latio versus Barcelona. I feel like for me, Latio is a team that it's kind of hard to call with. It's kind of hard to call with. Lazio, in my opinion, is a decent team. Of course, they have Ciro Immobile, who's the most dangerous player up front. I think this Lazio team could cause issues for Barcelona. This issue, Barcelona, and given the fact that we haven't really been that great in total this season, it could be really interesting. So, in my opinion, I feel like this wouldn't be a very easy matchup, but it wouldn't be the hardest. So I think this will be a medium test and that it would be manageable, but it wouldn't be like extremely difficult. I think this one would be manageable, and I would like to see this one take place. And so yeah, I think this is a fair test that it's not too easy nor too difficult. Then we got next week as Real Betis versus the Leipzig. Very similar to what I said for Real Sociedad for Atalanta. I really like this matchup a lot because RB Leipzig, they can score a ton of goals. They can score a ton of goals. We know how good they have been in the goal scoring part. It's just the defense has been a huge issue for them. And Real Betis, we know how insane they have been in La Liga. They're currently third right now in La Liga, if I'm not mistaken. And I just think they have enjoyed a great start to the season. And I just feel like for me, it's a great opportunity for one of these teams to be like, this is a great opportunity because I think it's a great matchup for both teams here. And I just feel like we're going to see a ton of goals. A ton of goals in this fixture. You have some quality players on both teams. Pellegrini versus the new Leipzig manager. Who's the new Leipzig manager, actually? Let me go just check. Yeah, I remember they did sack. Okay, so the new manager is Domenico Tedesco. So that's going to be very interesting. Managerial thing. And then we got next one, you guys, Rangers versus Sheriff. This is a great matchup because in my opinion, this is a very unpredictable match. The thing I love about this match is that Sheriff have really surprised us all in the Champions League for how great they have been defensively. And we know how good Rangers are in their whole thing. We know that they did go on to stop the, what is it? I think Celtic. They used to win so many Scottish Premiership titles, and Rangers finally broke that streak, and it was such a nice thing for Rangers. And I just feel like for me, both teams have honestly kind of surprised a lot of people with surprised expectations, and I just think that this is kind of like we're guaranteed to see underdog in the quarterfinals. I mean, not quarterfinals, round of 16. And I just think it'll be a great, great match. So I'd love to see this happen. And I think it would be difficult to call a winner for this one. Next we got is Olympiacos versus Porto. This is a really interesting one as well because you have two teams that are like very difficult to play against. We know both these teams have seemingly done well in Europe. You know, last season Olympiacos got to the round of 16, if I'm not mistaken, and they got knocked out by Arsenal. And Porto, obviously, we know they did. They got to the Champions League quarterfinals. And I think both these teams on their day can cause a lot of issues. Both teams have some quality players up in front. You got, obviously, Youssef Al-Arabi, who's the best player for Olympiacos. And then Porto, obviously, got Taremi, who comes to mind. Olivero. Then you obviously Marcin. You know, it's a great team. It's a great two teams that I think is a great matchup indeed. And I think, even though I think Porto would be favorites for this matchup, I still think Olympiacos could have the surprise factor and could eliminate Porto. And the final matchup we have is Braga versus Sevilla. I'll be honest with you, this is probably the most tamest fixture in my opinion. Like, if you're compared to the rest of the seven, I think this is probably the one that's like the least appealing. However, I do think this one's a very interesting matchup because we know Sevilla have been kind of struggling this season in Europe. They've honestly been a bit disappointed, and considering the group they were in the Champions League, I would have thought they would have topped that group, and it's interesting they didn't. So for Braga in particular, this is a great opportunity for them to match up against Sevilla, a team that's been somewhat struggling in Europe. And I think it's a great opportunity to see, and remember, guys, Sevilla are going to be hosting the Europa League finals. So maybe Sevilla purposely lost that game against Salzburg to be in this position. I'm just making jokes, by the way. But this is a great opportunity for Sevilla to really relaunch themselves and get another European trophy under their belt. So that's for my Europa League playoff draw, dream draw, and mock draw. I want you guys to comment down below what are your dream draw and your mock draw as well. And remember, guys, these are just what I want. And remember, guys, that's pretty much it. So I hope you guys do enjoy the video, guys. Make sure you guys check out my platform, my description below for my other platforms like my Twitch, my Discord, my Twitter, and my email, etc. And make sure you guys comment and subscribe on this video if you do enjoy it. And make sure you guys turn on the notifications on for all videos. And I'll see you guys later. Peace out.